My name is Lou Tedone. This morning I am making mozzarella's for my daughter's deli, the Apollo & Sons in Shell Beach, and prior to that I practiced pediatrics in San Luis Obispo for 35 years. I got my medical degree 6 weeks before my 24th birthday. I was stationed at Camp Roberts during the Korean War. When I got out of Camp Roberts, there was no pediatrician in San Luis Obispo. I decided the offer was too good and I remained here in San Luis Obispo, fortunately.
I think Dr. Tedone is an extremely special, unbelievably kind and talented person.
The love that he embodies in his life. He is just the most loving person.
As a physician, Lou has touched so many lives over the years of young people and continues to this day.
He took care of me, he took care of my children. That's pretty awesome.
He knew how to say thank you to people.
Yeah.
And we would work hard for him because he worked as hard as we did. That's what made it special.
He was just an amazing individual that I feel so blessed, and I know Marilyn does too, that we were able to work with him for those years.
I always remember him as just being extremely warm, and as a child you're always so nervous about going to the doctor, and he was always really good at putting you at ease. When I run into people my age and if the conversation ever comes up, who were your doctors growing up, 9 times out of 10 it was Dr. Tedone.
He was very personable and personal and always made every patient feel unrushed and cared for and important. Lou is the type of physician that physicians should strive to be like.
He never would be upset if I put somebody in. I could book him to the moon and back, and he would always say, Marilyn, if the mom wants them seen, bring them in.
And years later, when I was introducing him to somebody, I said, this is Dr. Tedone, and he probably birthed half of this county, and he saved my life a couple times. And without missing a beat, Dr. Tedone said, oh, Ed, God saved your life. I just didn't screw it up.
I mean, we had a lot of patients. And
we would walk
this
out.
Time of the year was kindergarten checkup time.
Oh, yeah.
But he made it so easy. You never felt stressed. And the cute thing that he would do, he'd come down the hallway and he'd look at me, Marilyn, and he'd go, polio, TB time, DPT, room 2.
I met Dr. Tedone first the day he hired me, actually. And he hired a woman, and there were no other women working. He took a big risk. We all tried to keep up with him, of course, but we never quite succeeded.
As our group got busier and he had retired, he was still interested in working and sometimes would cover us while we took vacation. And I remember one of the days when he came up to work, he decided to bring his day sheet along with him. There was at least 54 slots of patients that had been seen on one of his days, and of course, I thought I was busy and I was probably seeing 25 patients a day.
I was in the NICU with a baby about that big, and I couldn't get a line in. The catheter was little and the baby was little and the baby was sick and I was anxious and I couldn't do it. So I called Lou. He didn't hesitate. He said, Jim, I'll be over. And in literally 5 minutes he was there, walked in, as we said, dropped in the line. And I said, oh, Lou, I can't. He said, bye, I got to get back to work. So off he went back to see his patients.
The thing that just tickled the daylights out of me was every time I'd see him, he'd have another baby.
You can't talk about Lou Tedone without really mentioning his great family. They have been there with him and have also spread their mark throughout the community. They were never secondary to his medical practice.
I think that there's probably not a person in this town at that point in time of his life that hadn't gone to him. And everyone loved him. Not only loved him, they trusted him. And I still trust him.
I'm very, very excited about the improvement and the new birthing center they are planning at the French Hospital. It'll be much more comfortable for the parents, and I think they'll all be happier, and I'm excited to be part of that.
Lou has given of his time and talent over many, many years to so many people, and it would be most rewarding and deserving to honor him.
I think it's wonderful that French Hospital would like to honor Dr. Tedone by associating his name with a new birthing center, specifically because he's just had such a huge impact on this community more than probably any other pediatrician.
I think that his involvement in this development of this new birthing center, I think, is critical at this time, and also very, very fitting for a man who has touched the life of thousands of children and families in San Luis Obispo County.
So this will be a wonderful legacy for him and for future generations. The humble part of Dr. Tedone is that he feels that he's lucky. And in fact, I feel like we're lucky to have had him for all these years.
From his wife, his children, his grandchildren, all his friends, everyone is so blessed, and Lou loves every one of them so dearly.
The name Lucky Louie came from me. When I realized the kind of life I've had, I've been very lucky at all stages of life. From early childhood, had great, loving, hardworking parents. I've had success right along the line. I've had a lot of breaks. I had a loving wife, a hardworking wife who raised 9 kids, that very devoted, great cook, great mother. I have 22 grandchildren and 2 great-grandkids, and a 3rd one due in September. That's all part of my Lucky Louie list. It's unbelievable.